Hello there, I'm another Magento dev. In this video we're going to look at upgrading to 2.4.6, but we're not going to do it the easy way. I'm not just going to do it from 2.4.5 and show you how easy it is to run a composer command. No, I'm going to do it on an old site, an old production site on 2.4.3, and I'm going to show you all the sort of hideousness of an upgrade. And I don't need to tell you, you found this video because you're having trouble with an upgrade, no doubt. If you're not having trouble with an upgrade, take the lessons from this video, take my process. It's basically a way of showing you the process of how I sort of narrow things down, the process I go through when I'm running an upgrade. And obviously it's probably going to be a good one, because I'm going to get loads of errors. Basically I'm going to get loads of crap with old modules and stuff, and I'm just going to show you how I deal with them. We're also going to throw in, because we're going from 2.4.3 to 2.4.6, inevitably we're going to have to upgrade from a PHP 7 version to a PHP 8 version. So I'm going to cover that as well. And let's get on with it. Right, and let's crack on. I will just make this a bit bigger. So we're going with something that's probably a little bit more difficult than usual. So obviously we're setting ourselves a little bit of a challenge here. I'm setting myself a bit of a challenge in terms of this site. What I've got open now is an older site, so it's on 2.4.3. So and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it upgraded to 2.4.6. So it's taking quite a big jump. In real life, is this a good idea? Probably not. You probably want to increment this, or even patch it, security patch it and what have you, and use those incremental upgrades to do it. But the reason I'm doing it is you might be a situation where you've got no other choice. You need to upgrade stuff, and it's always best to where you can upgrade stuff, rather than just continually patching it. So the reason I've chose this site is because it's an old site that I don't sort of work on anymore, and it's just something that's lying around in my file system on my computer, so it doesn't matter if I do any damage. But also because it's going from a 2.4.3 and we're going up to a 2.4.6, invariably people are going to be finding themselves upgrading PHP at the same time. So currently we're running 7.4. Now 2.4.3 is absolutely fine. Look, I've got the site up and running. As I say, it's got no images and stuff, but here's the site. It's all sort of working on 2.4.3. Minus version on 2.4.3. So what one of the main reasons why I want to do this is because I reckon a few people who are going to find this video who are attempting big upgrades from older versions to the new version, to 2.4.6, is because hopefully they're going to hit, or you're going to hit the same issues that, or follow the same process and hit the same issues that I'm hitting today, that I will hit today. So what's the first thing we need to consider? Well, again, this is always about the process. It's just always about the process. And what I would do first, because I want to upgrade not only Magento, but I want to also upgrade PHP, is first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear out. I'm going to clear out the vendor folder. I'm going to get rid of that. So there we go, vendors finished, vendors are clear, sorry, right, and now I'm going to upgrade my version of PHP. So I can do that simply using Valet, but obviously if you attempted this on a server, you have to do this part on the server unless you're using some sort of automated provisioning tool like Ansible or whatever. But I would always recommend upgrading the PHP version and then running the upgrade. Obviously within minutes of each other or seconds of each other. So what we're doing here locally is we're rehearsing this process and making sure that everything goes through. We're going to commit everything to our repo, or we're going to create a branch that we're going to be able to merge into our relevant branches that run our staging and our live sites, in theory. And this is obviously going to make sure that the composer JSON that the composer that runs is, or the composer that is controlling the upgrade is in the right. It's basically got the right information on it, and then once it hits your server, you'll run composer install, and voila, everything should upgrade and match the packages that are listed in composer. So that's why we do things locally. That's why we do things in this order. So what we've got here at the moment is our master branch. So we are going to branch off. Not like that, we're not. So we're going to say git checkout. I'm going to say, obviously you can call this anything, but I'd go feature upgrade. And this way I can keep master branch intact for testing, and also just, you know, it's for good precaution. You don't want to be doing it straight on your master branch. Upgrade 246. So now I'm on a completely different branch, and I'm going to be able to abandon this and go back. But obviously, if you're switching between branches and you are running upgrades, and you're obviously discarding certain files and whatever, just be careful. And what I would always say is just like remove your vendor folder each time, remove your cache folders, and build it again with the composer JSON that's referencing the right version of Magento. And how do you find that out? Well, you can look in your composer. And in here you've got, so if I just do a search for Magento Community Edition, it's this line here, 243. This is the thing that changes and updates, not this one. This is the version that you installed it at. Okay, so this is the version that you are currently running. Okay, right. Let's run this. Run the upgrade. Okay, so I've got the docs for upgrading open here, and obviously you could just find them, just search for them, perform an upgrade. I do find these a little bit confusing now, or just hard to read. So I'm going to try and help you out here. So this is what I was talking about before, or trying to explain some of these things. Where we're probably doing a big jump here, but obviously it's for, you know, tutorial purposes. It's to have a look at. It's not recommended 100%, but as I said, sometimes you just got no choice. You got to do what you got to do. And as it's explaining here, look, it's probably, you've got your quality patches. It's sort of saying, look, this is how you would run it. But there's not much difference between like a mana release, a quality patch, a security patch in terms of the process, in terms of what you've done. The differences are going to be with the shit that it causes, the errors that you get, the amount of testing that you have to do. Obviously, a mana release, essentially I'm doing like a mana release, major release here, so I'm kind of updating, you know, I'm majorly updating from 243 to 246. But the command itself, as I was sort of saying, the composer require command is pretty much the beginning of it, in any case, is always pretty much the same. And as I say, it's confusing because it's referenced loads of times and it's all pretty much the same. But obviously, have a good read of it and try and understand it. Unlike me, I don't read anything, try and understand anything, just sort of go ahead and do it, and trial by fire. So what I would do is to start this upgrade process is, and because I'm doing this locally, I don't have to go in maintenance mode or stop a cron because I ain't got one, anything like that. But obviously be aware of that when you are running it through your deployment system on your live site, and you can tailor that to your needs. So I'm going to say 246. Because that's the one I want to upgrade to, and I'm going to say no update, and then I'm going to run this. Right, so this is the first little thing, right? It's because I'm running 243, require commerce into thing. So I can just use require here, or at least I haven't. Because you've got to run a certain, you've got to run an update, I believe, to get require comments. It might even be, I think it's in the docs. It's been a while since I looked at these. No. Okay, so we'll go in with that. It's done what I wanted it to do. So there we go. you can see I'm going from 243 to 246. So we're okay with that up to now. Right, and now basically the next thing you do is just run the update. Like once you've done that, you can just run the update. Obviously, this is the part where things are going to be things are going to go wrong if they are going to go wrong. So let's see. So stand by. This is where it could get complicated. So it seems to be running okay right now. We'll let this run through. I'm not gonna skip it. Okay, so far so good. So it's just installing all its packages into the vendor folder that we cleared. Create a composer lock file. It's good to monitor this. In VS Code, I always have my source control tab open, and I just try and sometimes it lags actually, so you need to refresh it. But what you end up with in here a lot of the time, depending on how your git node set up, is a shitload of changes, but there's nothing to really worry about. The other thing to kind of monitor is what happens in your file system. Make sure nothing crucial is getting deleted, and you can see sort of what's being added and stuff like that. Right, so the upgrade in and of itself has ran. Okay, and this is fine. So I'm getting an error now within one of my modules, and these are the types of things that you're gonna come across. This is what I sort of expected to happen. So let me just double check. Yeah, so I'm running PHP 8.1 at the minute. I just wanted to double check that I did change that because I couldn't remember. So that's one thing to check. So essentially, I'm now making a list now of the problems I'm going to get. So this module probably needs updating, and it probably hasn't been updated with my update or my upgrade, because it's saying what we've got here. So it's app code headworks. So yeah, this is one of the things that I talk about quite a lot in these upgrades. I've done upgrade videos before, as you can probably see on my channel. And this is where you're going to get the most issues, is in your code folder, because these things are updated when you're running Composer Update. All the other modules that you're allowed to get the update for, because obviously you're going to have subscriptions in there and paid for modules and keys, and make sure that everything's sort of all that information's up to date before you run an upgrade. But that's going to be based on your environment, and I can't really comment on that, but you got to make sure that certain things are up to date. You know, your auth JSON's up to date with the keys and stuff, because then Composer will take care of itself. Now, because this is an old site, a very old site, like it's had a number of developers on it, and we have thrown in modules into the code folder. Some companies didn't offer Composer installs at that time. You know, that there's many reasons why you get that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of the issues I get, and I am going to sort of note them down, but I'm going to push past them because I want to see the upgrade go through, and then I'm going to come back to the problems I get. So what I'm going to do is, let's just try. So this is headworks. So it'll be an old version of a headworks, and they'll definitely have a fix for this now. But for the purposes of this video and for the purposes of running an upgrade, I'm gonna. So basically, I wanted to check my version then, so I run my version check. But really, what I want to be doing next is I want to be running setup upgrade. So I'm gonna run, and I'm just gonna refer to the documents. Look, it does say that. Well, it says to remove all caches and stuff, but in fact, I'm gonna do this. I can't remember if I did it or not before I came on. So I'm gonna remove cache. I'm gonna You see we're going to get down to setup upgrade in a minute. Page cache generated code I'm going to remove. I'm not going to bother with page cache because I think I've got it switched off, but you can obviously do that yourselves. Yes. Right, and now I'm going to run setup upgrade. So let's bang this in here, and I should get like a similar, because it's doing the same thing now. If disabling that module is right, so I've got a different error now, and it's with the Amnesty module. So I'm just going to switch these off. Bear in mind, obviously, this is going to break your store and break the functionality of your store. But so I'm basically just noting down, you know, on quite literally on a pad, headworks and Amnesty. Because what I can do is I can switch these things back on, and I'm just going to make a note of the modules that I'm switching off. So we'll go switch all of these off. Obviously, it's with the Elasticsearch one there. They're all in here, look, by the looks of things. Yeah, etc. Elasticsearch. They're all these here. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to switch off the ones error by error. So this one was with, and it'll be easier to keep track of. So I'm just going to switch off the Elasticsearch one. Obviously these are going to be dependent on each other, but we should hit errors for each of those. So it's just a case of crawling through it. So I've got past my Amnesty error, and now I've got an error with the FishPig module. So it's an old WordPress integration module. Where's that guy? Yeah, logger error, so that's a FishPig code, FishPig, yeah, so I'm just gonna switch these off for now. I'm not expecting my store to come back with these, but I'm basically just... Okay, so I've had a couple of these errors, and there's only a couple. This was missing from these two functions, so I've just added it in. I know that it's a vendor file for now, but I've just added it in, made a note of it, moving past it. The next error I've got, surprise, is with an old version of a Bismarck's. So in this situation, I'm not even going to attempt turning it off. I'm just going to remove it. So I'm going to remove it altogether and save it sort of on my desktop. Get the upgrade past that, and then probably what I would do in this situation, if this was a sort of a client's production site, is I would get this installed, and all of these, to be honest, start getting them installed using Composer rather than having them in this code directory, and work my way through these, because you're going to hit these issues every time, really. Or, I mean, the other alternative is to continue upgrading them in here, so you'd get the newest version of the Bismarck's, and you'd upgrade it in the code folder. But as I say, I would advise, if you're hitting these errors for the amount I've hit these errors, it's probably worth, I'm just going to move this out, it's probably worth upgrading via Composer. So I'm just going to try this again. Okay, so this is looking more promising. Right, I've hit an issue here with the module that I've removed. Right, I'm just going to clear caches again. Generate code again, clear that. I'm going to clear cache. I'm going to clear page cache this time as well. Okay, let's try again. So open this upgrade. Unless it's knocking about in some of the modules, so I'll just check it. Okay, so that's gone through now. It must have been just sat in the cache somewhere, so it's worth doing that, clearing caches again if you get that issue. It's probably in the old page cache and I didn't clear it, so my mistake. Right, so the next thing you do is you basically need to, if you're in developer mode actually, run di compile setup upgrade. So just check my mode. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run all the commands. So I'm just going to run my shortcut of the big four, and this is going to run setup upgrade again. Then it's going to run di compile. Then it's going to run static content deploy. And then okay, so I've hit a couple of errors with existing modules, the ones in the code folder again, and all I've done is I've literally just saved them out. So it was the Fishpig one, the Bismarck's one, the Amnesty one, and I'm hitting the errors on di compile. So when I'm removing the, so I'm only basically saving them on my desktop. There's honestly a list that I'm going to go back over, make sure I get them upgraded. So it's absolutely fine to do that, and then either put them back in or reinstall the same modules. Find out what they are, reinstall them on using Composer. But each time I remove it, can't just run di compile again. You've got to run setup upgrade again because it's got to deregister. Basically, it takes the module out of your config file by running the big setup upgrade first before di compile. So now it's hitting code generation again, which is di compile, and I'm getting another issue. This time it's with the headworks one. So I'm just going to remove that one, add it to my list of ones that I need to come back to, and I'm going to run the big four again. So that's just to demonstrate that. I'm going to cut again because this process takes a while. This is why upgrades take a while. Okay, so I've pushed past the code generation, pushed past di compile. I've had to remove the odd, there was like patches from old versions of the checkout and all sorts that we now don't need. So I've got rid of all those, and just sort of, as I say, stored them on my desktop, wait for, and I can go back through and check them. But this is hopefully, excuse me, going to go through, and then I'm going to check the Magento version, just have a quick check that the front end loads. If it doesn't, that's my next issue that I'll embark on. And this is the upgrade this is my upgrade process. This is just how I've learnt to do it over with years of experience. You've got to work your way through it step by step. And as I say, I've made it hard for myself here because if you upgrade often, you're going to get less of these issues. If you upgrade all your modules more often, so now you're going to get less of these issues. So I'm just going to do. But this is an example, at least, where people get this. Yep, so I'm on 246 now on this branch. Just click on another link, see if it breaks. See what? I know for a fact. Yeah. So this is deprecated error. This is a deprecated error, and this is due to my theme or being developed pre PHP 8.1. So this is a simple fix. So how would I fix this error? So this is a nice little example of how to fix. So now this isn't due to the upgrade. Obviously, it's due to an upgrade. It's an upgrade of PHP 8.1. But essentially now, if I jump into so this error is on my list page, and I've come across this before. So it's basically the way something's coded if in the old version versus the new version of the list page. So if I'll tell you what, I'll just jump into my theme. So if I say app design front end, I think it's this theme. I can't remember which theme's active. Yeah, that's the one. Ponderosa theme. So in my catalogue, when I was developing this theme yonks ago, my list PHTML I would have just copied over from the core one, the one in Luma, or the core one. So if I just do a quick search for it, and then I made my changes. So if I just do a search for something in here, see if I can just find something. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly where it is in vendor. Just so if I just jump into my vendor folder, just do a quick search in there. There we go. So finding that code in the list PHTML in here. So which line is wrong, and it's or where the error is? It's 146 in mine. So if I have a quick close, didn't fully open mine, did I? So I'll get these both open. Let's just close these for the time being. So this was my version here. So it was line 146. There we go. So it's this little thing here, which is yeah, rendering some tag or something. So we'll just have a quick look at what it is now, and it's this one. So I would come back in, replace that, give that a little save, give that a refresh. There we go. My product page is working. Again, so as I say, you sort of work these through. If you get any other errors in your theme, just like that, just check what the new version is in vendor, work your way through. I've gone from 2.4.3 here to 2.4.6. If I'm being honest, I had that error that I saw there in 2.4.4, I think. So you work these out over time, and as I say, jumping versions, always a bad idea, but not a bad idea if you want to learn a thing or two about Magento's module dependencies, upgrades, where's the best place to have your modules. You learn a lot by doing these, and obviously it takes a lot of time, it takes a bit of time, but you know, anything worth doing always does, doesn't it? So yeah, there we go. I'm going to leave that there because all my module fixes and that, they're all sort of out of scope of this video, but the message is get them upgraded and they'll work. As you upgrade these, I've ended up with 5 modules that I'm going to need to find my upgrades for. So either that is, as I say, upgrading in, you know, moving them to Composer, or and letting Composer, which is what I recommend, take care of it in future, or getting the zip file from the vendor, from the module vendor, and upgrading them that way. But either way, they are going to be now the new versions compatible with the new version of Magento, and everything's going to be hunky-dory when it comes back. Final message is, once you've done this, test the hell out of it. Test it right the way through and make sure that you're not getting any major issues. Obviously, you'd push to a staging site, get the client to test it before you go live with this. But fundamentally, you've made your changes. You've made your, and obviously that was an example of a fix. You've managed Magento in this instance here is on 2.4.6, and it is okay. It is running. It's probably a good idea to check the admin and all that type of stuff as well. But again, with my video, it's been a bit of a ramble. Hopefully, you know, you've sat through it. Thanks for staying to the end, and you've learnt a thing or two about what you're going to do on your next. This isn't something you can just copy. You know, this isn't a tutorial where you just copy, and this is a tutorial where I'm giving you my experience, and then you can apply that experience to your next upgrade. So as I said, thanks for watching. If you like this type of Magento content, give it a like, and please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.